Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Fortune Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with Team 1's not isolated player, but kind of set off to the side player, and then working our way westward, we have in Light Oak Tan, the Seraphim player of Nightly. He is a 1700. We have in Tropical Ocean Blue Jura. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1900. In Barbie Pink, we have another Seraphim for Team 1. It is Velarone. He is a 1700. In Orange the Color Orange, next door to him, we have Pepe's as a Cybern. He is a 1400. And in Regal Blue, sporting half of his name at least, it is Blue Lynx. He is a 1500. And last but not least, for Team 1 in the northwest corner of the map, we have the highest rated player of the match. And on Team 1, it is Drimmer in Pac-Man Yellow as a 2100. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have at least one of each of the factions with 2 Cyberns and 2 Seraphim, leaving 1 UEF and 1 Aeon. Starting off with Team 2's Western player, they kind of play off to the side. Then working away eastward, we have in Batman Gray, Team 2's Vasyam 1. He is an Aeon for this match as an 1800. In Imperial Gray Teresis, we have Yoji as a Seraphim. He is a 2000 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 2. In Ruby Red Teresis, we have Furfur as a Cybern as a 1700. In Rust to his east, we have Gib. He is a Seraphim for this match, and he is a 1700. And right next door to him, walking northward, we have Psychoad. He is a UEF for this match as a 1700, again in Chevy Crimson. And last but not least, for Team 2 in the southeastern section of the map, we have Huff. I think that's how you would say that, H-U-F, Huff. He is a Seraphim for this match as a 1400 in Emerald Green. So for Team 2's side of the map, they have a decent amount of Seraphim. 3 out of the 6 of them are Seraphim, with the rest of them being the other factions, 1 of each to be in fact. So 1 UEF, 1 Aeon, and 1 Cybern. The differences between Team 1 and Team 2's lineup is Team 2 has 3 Seraphim and 1 Cybern. Team 1 has 2 Seraphim and 2 Cybern, and then all the other have a 1-to-1, or some case, obviously the discrepancy in the count, whatever, in terms of factions. But for these 12 players, let's take a look at the reclaim they have to scoop up, currently sitting at only 5,000 mass. Not terrible, definitely not great at all. I'd say about a little over 400 mass per player. It is something, but what this match does make up for in the lack of mass in reclaim, it makes up for in the mexes. And I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of groupings of mexes, but they are just shotgunned pretty much everywhere around the map. There are kind of little void packets of no mexes, but I mean, just over here we have 5 or so mexes and another 6th one, so 6 mexes right over here to the west here for Voss to take and scoop up. There is a Trimix position on this. Is that lower? It's an upper plateau. The red kind of makes it difficult to determine if it's lower or higher. But again, there are a decent amount of mixes. I do expect this eco for both teams to scale very, very quickly, especially with both teams going for the middle of the map. And in the middle of the map, I mean, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say 10 or so mexes definitely in the middle, maybe 12. I guess there's a nice little Selen standing over that one to hide it from my view. We do see a nice little bomber outbound from Team 1's Drimmer, trying to harass these early engineers and mexes. Does look like that interceptor does catch it a little bit. The bomber will not be able to drop its payload once again, and that engineer will be safe for Yoji for the time being. Another bomber is out, but I think they'll be less and less effective, of course, as Team 2 develops a strategy to deal with it, especially with a nice little Team 1 AA to shoot at that one before it does any critical damage to himself or his teammates. But that's going to be a nice grouping of engineers if he can not move them out of the way. I think he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 engineers. Yeah, those are 5 engineers. That is going to really hurt his build power. And I thought it was going to be another kill, but it looks like that engineer barely dodges it. T1 AA unit built, deals with the bomber. But again, 5 engineer kills, definitely a fun time for Team 1's Drimmer. We do see a couple of guns in the middle as well as T2s for Team 2. No upgrades that I've noticed for Team 1 as of yet. Pretty much everybody except for Team 2's Judah and the western side for Voss going for upgrade. Gun has been started for Drimmer in the water. Definitely good use of map. Be able to hide himself underneath the surface. Don't have to worry about any sort of rushing in to try to deny the upgrade. We do see a gun has been started for Voss. Gun has been started for Velarone. And almost everybody on Team 2. Actually, that was Team 1's Judah, not Team 2. I do apologize for that. I kind of confused myself. He's kind of like close to the middle, so I flipped what team he was on. Apologies for that. And we do see that stealth has been started here for Furfur getting a lot of his... Oh, nope, cancels it. Never mind. Sakurad hanging out next to him as well. In the east, I think we have the first comm-on-comm action, it looks like, between Huff of Team 2 and Knightley of Team 1. Knightley getting a decent amount of Team 1 PD to try to just throw Huff off of his scent. Couple of couple of Thams kind of blocking his way to deal even more damage to the comm. Not necessarily the units themselves, but the fact that the comm couldn't get out of range fast enough for the PD, able to deal more damage. T2 is done for Knightley, I might add, and that is going to be able to provide a lot of exclusion zone, a lot of territory to just kind of hold for the time being without any sort of retaliation on the cards. In the middle of the map, we have a nice little gun upgrade starting here for Blue Lynx, and Furfur pushing against Pepe's. He has no gun on board, hoping that his teammate of Blue Lynx will just finish that upgrade sooner rather than later. Here's Furfur. Doesn't have any sort of upgrades other than just the gun, but again, in a non-gun versus a gun, that gun is going to win more times out of not. We do see that Psychoad's coming in to assist as well, so it's going to be 1 gun comm for each team and 1 non-gun comm for each team. Split attack here in the west from Drimmer, trying to really annoy both Yoji and Voss. Voss has the speed upgrade, probably wishing he had the range upgrade now on board as those Mantis get out of range, or at least try to get out of range for the time being. In the middle, it does look like Velarone pushing in with his gun upgrade, forcing back his opponent. And I will make a... is there... Again, it's kind of hard to sometimes tell if this is Pac-Man, not Pac-Man Yellow, but Laddish Red Pink or Barbie Pink. I think that's Barbie Pink, but it just looks very... yeah, I think that's Barbie Pink, not Laddish Red Pink. But they are pretty similar, to be fair. Still, shots being fired between Furfur and Blue Lynx. Furfur is dropping below 50%, and there's a large army inbound, both from the west and from the east from both teams, and another army from Velarone. It's just a sandwich and a sandwich and a sandwich and a sandwich inside of a sandwich. Lots of sandwiches here in the middle of the map. Psychoad trying to help. He does get Furfur out of range of his 2 opposing commanders' gun comms. But Psychoad now being 2v1 here, he's probably hoping that they kind of just alleviate the pressure. Lots of Zooey shots inbound, and most of those units from Team 2 have been whittled away. There are still some inbound from Gib from the east, but of course the gun comms of Team 1 and the remaining units will deal with those units quite quickly. Here we have a tiny little air fight. Of course, it is an interceptor fight, so nothing really too much of consequence. We do see a nice little, not the fighter bomber inbound going after Blue Lynx. He dodges most of the central damage, but of course it is an AoE. So we will take some nice little splash damage. Not a good day for him. Interceptors, I think, do intercept that. Not the fighter bomber. I think, yep, there it is right there. It does get shot down. I would not be surprised to see another one inbound here shortly. But, of course, that could be the only one that he built for the time being. T2 Air, of course, as illustrated, is online for Team 2. In one form for Team 2. Oh, no, excuse me. Team 2 also has a T3 air player as well. So 2 air players for Team 2 so far. I expect something in kind for Team 1. Knightley, that's not it. Let's see. No, not for Judah. No. We do see a T3 air facility online for Pepe's. And that is it. So it's 1 air player versus 2. Team 1 has the advantage on land, as we can see illustrated by the middle. But Team 2, if that T2 air facility goes to T3, that could be huge for pushing back Team 1 with their land advantage. Gun coming online here for Psychoad. He's in the yellow. He's about a little under half of his hit points. And for hanging out in front of him, going for the stealth. We do see that Drimmer has stealth and gun on board, facing down a commander of Voss with only the speed upgrade for his gun on board. And still shots in the middle, constantly firing. These commanders not letting anybody rest. Gib with a gun, Bellarone with a gun, Judah with a gun, a speed upgrade, and an advanced range upgrade, and a shield upgrade. He is an Aeon Sniper Commander, and he could be almost Aeon Tanky Commander with the Sniper as well if he goes for that additional shield upgrade. But this is going to be another 2v1 in favor of Team 1, and if Gib is not careful, he will be the first out of this game. I mean, we've had some close calls so far for a couple of players in this game, but, I mean, it's just no one wants to kill anybody, and that's partly due to the fact that, of course, it is most likely at least a partial share, if not a full share. I feel like a huge portion of games now are just full share, full share and not partial share. I was going to say full share, but that's kind of redundant. And it is a strategy to not kill the player because you'll give that player's base and eco and everything else over to somebody else. So they have to be very careful, especially early on, who they kill, when they kill them, and how much they can inflict damage to that player before they do get that kill. Nano is coming online here for both of these red players here for Team 2. Psychoad going for his Nano, and of course Furfur going for his Nano after his Stealth, because that's just how that upgrade system works. But of course that upgrade is now done. Psychoad is a little over half done with his, so he'll be perfectly fine hanging out. Gunship online for said Psychoad, going after Velarone's commander. Velarone going for a nice little Team 1 land facility. The ASFs for Team 1 need to come in immediately to deal with this. There are some orange ASFs nearby. They are going to engage that gunship, and it is going to be a nice little win for Team 2, at least for a time being in the air. Velarone drops almost into the red there. Regen Aura has been started for Gib to regen his nearby units. He has some Ilshis online, and of course he's facing off against a Seraphim player, so he'll have Ilshis online here shortly. We do see the comm of Furfur moving in to deal with these remaining units from said Seraphim player, that being Velarone. Nano is done on board Psychoad, and still only the speed upgrade here for Voss. We do see Nano is done for Drimmer in the west. No real things happening in the east here. Huff underneath dual shield coverage. Of course, I do love the fact he needs to place it, I think, a little bit further south, but I think he might be in that Venn diagram, possibly, maybe, just to make sure that he's not sniped, getting some more Ilshis on the front lines. Of course, lots of missiles inbound going after the TMD and the PD as well, so Nightly going to have to fall back at least a little bit, unless he just wants to get hit by constant missile fire. We do see Furfur continuing to now push out with Gib and Psychoad coming to back him up again. Restoration field, or regen, or whatever that you want to call it, for Gib and Gun. Furfur with Gun and Nano, and then the UEF commander of Psychoad with Gun and Nano as well. Of course, the difference between those guns is one is a damage and range, and one is a speed and range. You see that Gib is now just poking at these units for Judah. Judah has to be very careful. 2 gun comms. He does have the advanced range upgrade and a shield, but against 2 gun comms, soon to be 3, he needs to move immediately. He's going to go north, and it looks like we might see some assistance from Velarone, but of course his comm can't intercede because it's not feeling too well. It's kind of peckish. I think it's peckish. I think that's the word for it. He has to get some more vitamin C and get his immune system back up and running. But Furfur now kind of blocking Judah in with this environment. He is trying to kind of skate around this little hillside here, or mountainside here, whatever you want to call these little standalone mountain thingies. But Gib pushing in. He's almost back into the green, and Judah's hit points, even those additional 8,000, are being wiped off the face of his commander. You'll get that shield down warning that you get in Halo, where if you don't get your shields are down, you go doot 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 doot. Is that the same? I forget what I can hear it in my head. I just can't reproduce it with with my skills in the audio department in terms of my vocal cords. Vocal department. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Velarone drops into the red, drops into the yellow, drops into the red, drops into the yellow, back in the red again. Now these 3 gun comms just exerting dominance in the middle of the map are pushing everyone back. We do see in the west there are 2 comms nearby. Pepe's no upgrades. Shield coming online here for Blue Lynx. He's still in the yellow, but he's still doing good. He does have a comm nearby, and he's going for shield. He will have shield, so they'll give him 19,000 hit points on board said commander. Judah half repaired or half regen for his own personal shield. But those 2 comms are in range. Will Fervor continue to pressure or not? Gib Again, regenerating 38 hit points a second versus Jura's 28, so it will favor Gib, just in terms of the raw damage point of view, unless some units come in to intercept. Gib doesn't look like he's really in range now of Jura's commander. There's a gunship inbound. Is it going to go for Velarone? Is it going to go for Jura? I think it's going to go for Velarone. And that gunship, I don't think it'll be close to get the kill. There should be some ASFs inbound here shortly. Second gunship inbound. That will definitely get this kill here for Team 2. There he goes. Team 2 gets the first kill of the game, and it's now a 6v5 in favor of the southern team of Team 2. We do see in the east attack once again on Nightly, pushing him back. He's dropped pretty low. He's in the reds now. Huff moving in, interceptors nearby as well to provide some air coverage. But those Ilshis are really just throwing Team 1's Nightly back. Of course, it is Seraphim versus Seraphim. I don't see many Ilshis online. He's gone for T3 land tech, gone for the Authams. But look at all those missiles inbound. Nightly's got to keep moving. And he's got to bob and weave. He's going to bob and weave, or he is going to not feel good here shortly. And in the middle of the map, Laser has been started. Pepe's his first upgrade in the game. And it is going to be the Laser. Very bold of him. And those are definitely what the Cybrids are known for, strapping a teleporter and a laser on board and saying, hey, I'm going to teleport in your base and laser everything to death, or to put a cloaking device on board his comm and another laser and just say, full send it, as we have seen in actually yesterday's game, in fact. It's definitely one of my favorite things about Subcom and FAF in general is just the... You think about it in terms of normal sci-fi, like the Outlandish, you have this, however tall commander who can put another nuke on its back because it's powered by some quantum entanglement device nonsense. And the UEF are like, yeah, well, we'll just put another nuke on board and throw it at people because why not? And then you have the Cyberns where like, well, we'll just strap a laser to our chest and then just blitz everything down, just like our experimental monkeys, except it's on our chest. Or the Aeon's ability to sacrifice, or the Seraphim's ability to just be super tanky with nano and whatnot. Like, I love that each, essentially, faction has its own, like, this is the thing that they do. It makes every faction feel unique and has a personality and all of that. So, I just love I wouldn't say the sci-fi-ness of this franchise, but this game. But I don't know, it's just really fun and enjoyable to not only cast, but also talk about as well. We do see in the east, again, Nightly has fallen back. He is back in the yellow, though. He has T2 on board. So we got a decent chunk of hit points. He's almost got a veterancy as well, so he'll get some more hit points back once he gets pretty much one kill, unless he kills an engineer, I think. Or, yeah, I think if he doesn't kill an engineer, he's good on that veterancy. At least I think an engineer is worth less than 48 points. I can't remember off the top of my head. Nano repair has been started here for Gib. He has Regen Ore and Nano. Will he go for the tanky Seraphim build? He has, well, almost has 3 of the 5 upgrades. There it is. That little backpack on board gives him these little, like, spiky things for that Nano. It's a nice little backpack. They look like missiles or artillery pieces or one or the other, but they are not. And Laser is half done. Again, very bold strategy, especially that's the only upgrade he's gone for so far. He's playing definitely... I mean, he's not passive. He is the air player, so he's not really focusing on land. His other teammates, of course, are. But in the west, we see a large group of forces inbound here from Vaz. Vaz hasn't gone for any upgrades besides his just speed upgrade. It looks like he's just going to roam the battlefield a little bit and scoop up some mass. But his army is pushing in. His opponent of Drimmer has Nano and Gun on board and has a couple of bricks to escort his commander and more units moving in to intercept. We do see a decent amount of Harbingers and Obsidians. Love to see those units in the mix, as well as, of course, Aurora and a couple sniper bots, which hopefully they can actually land on some landmass, given the fact that this map is probably 95% water, unlike that campaign mission I did where I had maybe less than 50% landmass and I had to finagle my way around the map with sniper bots. That was interesting to say the least, that is for sure. We do see Huff has some PD online, not only charging forward with a Nano on board. Huff only has Gun and T2, so he is out nanoed or out regen. And Huff still going for those PD. I think he has to retreat at this point Large group of Harbingers inbound from Team 1's Jua to assist with this attack. Lots of missiles. Constantly going to keep Knightley on his toes. Cannot stand still for an instant, so he just gets ripped apart by those missiles. Thousands of hit points being just penetrated by that artillery or indirect missile fire. I guess missiles are kind of indirect anyway, so that's just missile fire. Look at that. Look at that AoE spread. So even if Knightley does avoid some of the missiles, a little bit of the AoE does still hit him. So he's just got to keep going and bob and weave, and bob and weave. Nano coming online here for Pepe. Is he going to go for the cloaking? He's going to go for the cloaking, ladies and gentlemen. 22 minutes on the clock. His first upgrade was the laser. Will his fourth upgrade be the cloaking? Maybe he'll go for gun after Nano and then go for cloaking. I have seen that, where they want to get that additional. Essentially, your laser now becomes your main weapon instead of your main weapon now just still being your main weapon. It's your secondary weapon now. And don't get me wrong, Overcharge is powerful, but the laser is a lot better. It's a lot better. We do see Gib here over in the middle, shifting over east to assist his teammate. Well, he's kind of, again, poke and prod at Jua, who now has 2 bases online. Given the game overall so far, 22 minutes and almost 40 seconds, Team 1 and Team 2 staying relatively lockstep with one another in mass income. In terms of total mass accrued, Team 1 slightly ahead, but it isn't terribly ahead, only about 40 or so thousand mass. We do see, again, map controls. I'd stay a little bit in favor of Team 2, 51%, 49% kind of thing. It's very fluid. There's not really any large holdings in terms of one direction or the other in one lane or the other, which lanes in this game are kind of just everywhere. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, because why not, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. And of course, I encourage each and every single one of you who has watched to this point to watch to the end, because why not? Why not? We do see a couple of PD trying to be built. Harbingers inbound, trying to just flood the middle of the map and rip apart all of these engineers before they build defenses. We do see Psychoed moving in with his gun and Nano Commando. Gib is actually falling back to at least secure this front. We do see a couple of tickle cannons online. It's something. It's not great, but it's something. We do see there's a little bit of some missile launchers now outbound here from Blue Links. Cloaking is online. That's his 4th upgrade, ladies and gentlemen. 35% almost, and almost 24 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has an Omni right next door to Pepe's. If Team 2, ooh, that's not going to be great. Team 2 has an Omni. It's in the middle of the map, and they can... is he in range? He's right there. So once he goes cloaking, they won't see him until he essentially goes right past that hydrocarbon, and then they will see him, and then he will not feel good. We do see Knightley again dodging and dodging and dodging and dodging, of course. He does have Nano and T2 and gun on board. Lots of missile launchers. I feel like Huff should probably go for more T3 tech, or even just go for Ilshis. He probably could have just steamrolled Knightley with all of those. If all of them were Ilshis, he probably could have steamrolled him. But of course, it's never a one-to-one scenario kind of situation with the mass and energy requirements and whatnot. But I do love this over here for Voss. T1 radar, T2 radar, T3 radar. Why not? Why not have one of each in his base? One of them is shielded. That's the Team 1. One is not even shielded or trying to be shielded, but it's not. And then one of them is not even trying to be. A couple of bricks land due to these incoming transports. Transports might make it home. They do make it home. But of course, Team 2 will notice the drop inbound from Drimmer. And still Knightley just will not stop feeling the pain of those missiles. Now we have the Ilshis online. It looks like Huff heard me from through the ether saying, hey, you should build some T3 units. And he has T2 units, at least the Ilshis. He does have T3 land online, but I feel like he could have built a lot more Ilshis, especially with all of that mass in those missile launchers. We do see a couple of Harbingers holding position in an artillery barrage is inbound. Looks like it's not missiles. That's definitely artillery. Am I just like completely missing the thread here? I don't see... I see a missile launcher. I do not see artillery. At least mobile artillery. At least maybe I missed it somewhere. It is definitely possible. I don't think the missile looks like that. Anyway, we do see a couple... I mean, that missile has killed 3,800 mass, so maybe just the AoE looks a little different to me. Anyway, You see Boss has now fallen back. A large army in the west. Experimentals being built one after the other. Team 2 looks like they have at least one online. It is the crab. Well, actually, not crab. It's the monkey. The crab is being built. Apologies. Nuke is coming online here and almost loaded for Yoji. That's not going to feel good. And is the cloaking done? The cloaking is almost done for Team 1. Scoot, says Valeron. Scoot. You got to scout. You can't scout. You have to scoot. You have to scoot across the map on a scooter. We do see Nuke is outbound going for the northwestern base of Drimmer. Does he have an SMD online? No. Does his neighbor have an SMD online? No. Yoji for sure, says Ju. He's like, well, it's probably going to be him. And Psycho Ed says bingo. Like, well, at this point, I mean, it's like Team 1 kind of. I mean, you didn't have to confirm, but it's funny. And here comes that nuke. That nuke's going to not feel good. All of the engineers go not in the main base. It's going to be a pretty nuke. Here it comes. It is inbound. All of the everything is gone. Pigeons immediately being rebuilt. Love to see that. Kaboom! Kills off 4 core mexes. A couple of T3 structures. I'd say about maybe 40,000 mass. 40. Was that 46 or 45? That's 45. It's kind of hard to see the 5 or the 6, but almost 46,000 mass. Definitely a respectable nuke there. Chicken on the eastern side here for Nightly. That's going to push back the mainly indirect fire of Huff. Now he's building artillery. That's not going to be a good day for that artillery piece. Needs to get some Optims and more Ilshis online. He can hide in the water, but that's not going to do a lot for that front line if you can't keep it. We have some tickle cannons going after some sniper bots. Oh, there's a couple sniper bots. But mainly Harbinger and Ilshi force. And now there's a huge, bigger Harbinger force to the east. We do have Psycho Ed not actually in the water. Or he's in the water, not underneath the surface. He's getting a shield upgrade on board. He's almost at 90%. At that point, you just finish it and be done with it. He's actually getting some assistance from Gib to actually finish that upgrade. It is finished. 19,000 hit points now available. We have the Monkey versus the Harbingers. The Monkey will probably not win this fight. Will do considerable damage to this army, though. You can see it just ripping apart the hit points quite quickly. Psycho Ed offers himself as a nice little distraction. More than half of his shield hit points are already gone, but it saves the Monkey, so Furfur's going to be happy about the fact that his experimental is not dead. We do see an experimental, a Colossus running around. So we've seen a Colossus, a chicken, and a monkey. We just need a crab and a fat boy, and that's all the land experimentals in the game. Chicken breaks through the front lines here for Huff, and he is forced to retreat. I don't see anything spicy in the background for Team 1 besides just more air grid. And, of course, reconstruction efforts by Drimmer. And more SMDs, of course. And more SMDs also being built by Team 2. We see that Nuke is almost reloaded. Actually, it is reloaded. I will retract that statement. Crab is more than half done here. And I don't see anything else super big. Love to see the pigeons. Not pigeons. Love to see the shield grid started, as well as, of course, shielding the SMD with the T3 air facility. Love that kind of not closing in, but covering of multiple high-value targets or the high-value assets. A couple of gunships inbound here from Team 2's air player of Gib, going after that Colossus. Nuke is outbound. Where is this one going? Just don't, why? He's just Yoji is not happy with Drimmer today. Maybe he just said something mean about his mom. Maybe he just didn't like his color scheme today or something. I don't know. But that's the second nuke going for the same player. Oh, Pepe is your transport. You got to be careful with that thing. Don't go further west. Looks like he is going to just kind of hang out there for a second. Here comes the nuke. It's not going to be as impactful as the first one, but it will take out more of his power reserves. And that brick in particular, kaboom, takes out more mass extractors as well. Yes, thank you, Psycho Ed. Forget you in particular. Again, Yoji just does not like that, man. 83,000 mass, so almost the same amount of mass killed as the first nuke. So, I mean, given the fact it didn't look like he killed off that many, the high-valued outlets, he still did a lot of mass damage. But you see this monkey pushing in for Drimmer, going after Voss still only has the speed upgrade on board. T3 Mex is being taken offline. His construction of the Colossus has now been halted and will be completely nullified. Advanced Nano coming online here for Gib. Did he go for advanced region? I can never tell the difference. And he did. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with that interior circle, because essentially they just took the same icon for Nano, and where it's like the two quarter circles and then the other two quarter circles, and that's the advanced Nano. They did the same thing for the advanced region, or the region aura, with the interior circle, so it's kind of hard to tell just at a glance. But now we see these Othams now rampaging the countryside here. Chicken is online for Huff, so counter Chickens. He's still hanging out in the water there. I don't blame him. That's where I would hide if I was him. And Voss gets annihilated by the Monkey and Brick Force. And there he goes. Team 2 loses their first play of the game, defeated by Drimmer at 31 minutes. It's now a tied game at 5v5. And I would presume that Yoji would get the remains of Voss's base. He's right next door. That would make sense. Back gunship coming, says Velarone. He doesn't want the monkey to just be thrown. But of course it did get a kill, and there is a chicken inbound, so I don't know how much backing he can realistically do at this point. Oh, and I will correct that. This Colossus that was over here was destroyed by Team 1, not by Team 2 for some reason. Oh, well. Where'd that yeah, there's that Colossus wreck. It's weird because it's like sunken into the ground there. Look at that. It's like being absorbed by the sand. Anyway, air fight happens over the top of the grave of Voss. Chicken, of course, has a little bit of AoE, but not going to count on any of that. Looks like Team 2 will win that fight quite handedly, remaining with about, I'd say, 100 ASFs for Psycho Ad. 107. Hey, that was really close, and there was 4 over here, too, so 103. I'm getting a little better at guessing how many units are where, but then I think I'm getting even better, and then I estimate, oh, there's only 50, and there's like 200, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I gotta rethink my estimation scheme. Crab pushing forward against this decent Percy force. There are a lot of these spearheads adding to that complement of weapons, but they are indirect, and they're shooting at a moving target, so not great. You can see this huge arc. They are doing a little bit of damage while they move, though, but not as much damage to kill off a unit or structure very quickly. There are some loyalists, though. Ooh, that one took a hit. They can redirect missile fire. Love to see them on the front lines redirecting missiles, regardless if they're a Billy Nuke, a regular missile, a TAC missile from a comm, whatever the case may be. A missile is a missile is a missile is a missile. I don't think they can redirect nukes. That would be way OP if loyalists could do that. I think it's just TAC missiles. You can see the missiles being redirected. It's funny because the missiles from those spearheads curved back, so essentially they're just going backwards, which is again further south and then back north. Kind of a really weird strategy with those missiles going back and forth. But anyway, couple of chickens, couple 3 down the middle here from Jula, pushing on Gibbs' position. He has 2 chickens, but he has a lot of shields to protect him as well, so the firepower will side with Team 1, but the defense power will side with Team 2. His 3rd chicken is coming online here shortly, though, so he does have another one being built. And there is another chicken over here for Team 2's Huff. Unfortunately, he's being shot at by missiles from these Othams in the water. There's also 2 chickens guarding his comm, so he is probably going to die here. Colossus is done here for Yoji. He has an eye on board as well. And he's going for an Albasaw bomber. And he's going for a nuke. This man is building all of the nice, fun toys in this game. Maybe he'll be the one to build the game ender for this game if one does get built. Gunships overhead of Knightley's position. Completely just, nah, it's fine. We'll just go for his mass and call it a day. That's not going to feel good. All of those T3 mechs is not going to have a fun time. Not only to be, of course, destroyed, but also time to be rebuilt as well. Chicken fight here for Team 1 and Team 2. 1 chicken is down. A 4th one makes an appearance here for Judah, so it's a 2v1 advantage. And Team 1 about to lose the 2nd chicken, but Team 2 is going to lose their 1st one here shortly. This one actually will not die before that one does. Iron Storm will activate next to that one. That's not going to hurt. That Iron Storm's going to activate. That's not going to hurt. All the Iron Storms are activating. Ion. Lots of ions, lots of chickens. Lots of nonsense in the middle of the map. I heard an explosion. What was it? Nope. At least I thought I heard an explosion. Anyway, back down here. Another chicken is dead because that Ion Storm. Gib retreating in the face of that chicken. He'll be fine, though. Nice little AoE. Not AoE, but nice little overcharge kills the remaining hit points on the chicken. Furfur not feeling good. Ooh, the environment helped him out a little bit. He probably would have been hit, but he gets underneath the surface of the water and goes, whew. Well, he's glad that he got out of there. Bomber is inbound, though, to help him. Just don't AoE the commander. That'd be very not great here for Team 2 to just lose a player due to a AoE bomb. There it goes. Killed off 7,000 mass. On the western side here, Team 1's Pepe is coming in to laser this commander. The laser actually is not activated. Maybe he turned it off or something, but a Ion Storm does not help the situation for Team 1. And not really a good thing. But again, the good thing, though, for Team 1 is that the mass is there. Stuff is dead, but the mass is still there. Bomber rampage in the front lines, and the gunships coming in, taking out more than half the air grid. Now going to go after a nuke that's about to load. Oh, there's a pigeon that almost could go down. The shields, you got to launch the nuke immediately. Launch the nuke immediately. Some of the gunships do get underneath the shield, but there goes the nuke, and there goes a chunk of hives as well. Oh.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh, and even just to add insult to injury, Team 2's Yoji launches another nuke. Oof. That's a oofta, that's for sure. Another pigeon could be taken out over here. But those gunships have done a lot of damage to Team 1's back line. Looks like they went straight north from Knightley's base and kind of just creeped the edge. Great move by Psycho Ad. Both him and Yoji are just punishing Team 1. There goes the nuke. Kaboom! That's where Peppers was hanging out with his construction efforts on his comms upgrades. And there goes another bomb dropped here by this Awasa bomber. 24,000 mass killed. So his first veterancy has been earned. But it is missing about half its hit points as well, so not as effective. But of course, the ASF's trying to get out of there with minimal losses. Unfortunately, there's a lot of AA, these radar-guided flak, as well as a couple of lightning tanks to diminish some of those air forces here for Team 1. Gunships now inbound once again from Psycho Ad. They're not going to be able to kill that chicken if it goes in the water. Granted, it doesn't look like it is going in the water, and there's more gunships being added all the time. And that's a dead chicken. There. Oh, will the chicken have enough time? Will it get its head underneath the surface? Oh, it's pretty tall. No. That's a dead chicken. And this chicken actually will pop out. Unfortunately, the Ion Storm from this chicken might kill it if this one doesn't get out of range here shortly. Oh, that's rough. Oh, a kill from beyond the grave. And in the words of Warhammer, even in death, I still serve. Monkey over here protecting Pepe's commander. He's killed off 8,000 mass. I haven't really seen the laser. I think he's keeping it hidden. He doesn't want Team 2 to know about it. Another laser on board here now for Team 1's Drummer. Are we going to have a dual cloaked Cybran laser commander situation? I mean, maybe they'll switch to, I was going to say, maybe they'll switch to teleporter if I could get the words out fast enough. So there's one cloaking gun and there's one, cloaking laser, and there's one telemaser. Not the fighter bombers are inbound going for something. Pings are on Peppers' commander, but I don't think Team 2, yeah, they don't see him. They're going after the SMD coverage. That's not good for Drimmer. And, oh, one more bomber would have been enough. Oh, just redirect a couple of those bombers. Oh, looks like the bombers are being redirected. Are they going to get that SMD? Oh, there it goes. And Nuke will launch. Great timing there. Gives no time for Drimmer to recuperate from that loss. Launches it essentially right when Yoji knew that it was going to get destroyed. That is what, the fourth nuke? 120,000 mass killed, so an averaging of 40,000 mass per nuke. That's some very good nukage for Team 2's Yoji. He's also producing 900 mass per second, so it's adding to his just nuke, and more nukes. Oh, is it going to clip the comm? I thought it was a little bit further over to the east, but I guess not. No. kaboom. That one's not as expressive as it could have been. Yeah, I don't know if he misclicked or something. I feel like there was a little... I thought it was right over here is where he clicked it, but weird. Anyway. Couple of big red dots in the middle here for Team 2's Furfur. There also are 3 chickens from Gib. I'm assuming he'll transfer... Somebody will transfer something to somebody else just to make that a little bit easier to micro. In the east, Knightley still holding out, though, against Team 2's Huff. He's actually fallen back. He's almost built his own chicken once again. But, of course, he had to rebuild all of his mixes. Another Colossus is done here for Judah. Airgun has been restarted, and the T4 Experimental Mobile Rapid Fire Artillery Unit, not installation, a unit, coming online here for Team 1's Pepes. So not only does he have a cloaking laser commander, he also is going to have a Scathus here. I mean, not shortly, but in some time if it does continue to be constructed. I don't think he's switching over to teleporter, though. Artillery, that's... Oh, I thought I was going to hit the commander. That would have been very funny, but it's not. Artillery is now coming in from Team 2. I'm going to guess that it's just Yoji. Yep, it is Yoji with, again, 900 plus mass. He has a nuke. He has an artillery installation. He has a bunch of experimentals. He's just doing very, very well in this game. And I would have thought he was the air player just because he was kind of, further back a little bit. But he's done very well in just kind of being the eco player for the most part. But he's done stuff on land, to be fair. He's not only been eco, but he has done very, very well for himself in the money income department. Team 2 leading Team 1 in the mass generation overall by about 150 to 200 mass per second. Not a terrible loss, but it still is a terrible deficit, but it's a decent amount, especially when it's getting 2.4, now 2.5. Not really looking good, Art says Velarone. Yep, and look at how fast this one's going. This one's at 0 speed right now. It's going real quick. It's already half done. And if Team 1 does not solve the Yoji problem, every time I say his name, by the way, I want to say Yoshi for some reason. That's not a good thing. Does Team 2? Yes, Team 2 has another artillery piece. It is a disruptor. Second one coming online, already in the yellow here for Furfur. So he's like, well, if Yoji can do it, I can do it as well. So now we have 2 artillery pieces, soon to have 4. Land fight in the middle. Lots. That is just an unhealthy amount of chicken, bok, chicken, bok, chicken, bok. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 chickens for Team 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chickens. So like there was 12 chickens at one point, and then obviously chickens died. They got slaughtered for the good of KFC and McDonald's as chicken nuggies. But this crab is almost gone. This chicken's almost gone. Colossus, of course, coming in to really just provide a lot of damage. And there goes the nuke. Even though there was a decent chunk of mass for Team 2 to grab, I mean, they provided to the heap. That nuke is going to kill off, oh, shoot, maybe close to 200,000 mass. I mean, there's at least 113 right there. Couldn't be 117, but anyway. 113 mass. That is, I won't even zoom in on the nuke. I'll still say kaboom. I just want to see what the numbers look like after the nuke comes in. Kaboom, there goes the 113 number. Absolutely gone. Oof, that is a lot of mass deleted. I wish they had a separate stat, especially for nukes that are like, this is how much reclaim you kill. And there goes a Calm of Drimmer. He teleported down here. He's going to teleport in again. And he's going for the disruptors for Team 2. Unfortunately, there's a decent amount of T1 PD. Will the AoE be enough? No. Gets reclaimed. Good job on Fur for being on the take for not on take on the quick draw McGraw for that. But there goes Team 2's Fur. Sorry, Team 2's Fur. Team 1's Drimmer by Team 2's Fur. Dropping this game now to a 4v5. Artillery raining in on the Scathus position. It's half done. But the shields are falling and failing and not holding out. Ooh, there goes another mass storage there. There goes some AA. It needs to get shielded. It's one artillery piece or one good... Oh, and there it goes. I was going to say it's one shot really away from dying. Team 1's... I won't say last one testament was in that thing, but it's definitely a lot of hopes for riding on that. Do they have a backup plan? There are a decent amount of hives here with some shielding. I don't see any big plays coming out of Team 1. Germa teleported in and died, so that didn't really help things. Team 1 also has Pepe's, who has laser already on board, but he has cloaking. The Omni for Team 2 in the middle is down, though, so he could... Well, there's an Omni over there. All Team 2 would have to do is just build some spy planes, and they could see him if he walks straight down the middle. But there is a decent chicken force with a Colossus or 2, Colossus or 3 inbound. The Team 2 kind of lacks on the land side of things for firepower. There are more chickens inbound from Gib. Huff has done a great job of kind of just poking and prodding and, you know, falling back, pushing in, falling back, pushing in. Against Nightly, he's kind of kept one player's attention quite nicely. He's been very solid. I mean, again, taking losses. I mean, inflicted losses, so he hasn't been perfect. No one's perfect. But he's done, I think, a very solid job just being, again, just a solid player on that side of the map. One Colossus being chased by 1, 2, 3 chickens and 3 Colossi. That thing is dead meat. Well, okay, there's the laser. The Colossus is like, well, I have to turn around. Nope, not going to do it. Going to dodge that shot. See you, bye. Oh, it turns around. That's not a good idea. If it could kill off the chicken, though, that would be something. But there's already too much damage. There's no hope for that Colossus doing much of anything else. In Team 2, this might be the thing. If Team 1 can get this land force into this main base for Yoji, that would be very, very big for Team 1. Now the question is, can they make it? Of course, the fire rate of the Disruptor has been diminished due to losses in P-gens, but there are some chickens in to protect some of those artillery pieces. Third chicken? No, not third chicken, but at least a chicken for Team 2's Yoji is being built. He's still loading the nuke. He has 2 of them loaded. I mean, one thing he could do is just nuke his own base once those units come in close enough and just wipe most of those experimentals off the board. Especially because there's 2 monkeys and a crab inbound is targeting my SMD, says Nightly, unfortunately. Yeah, artillery is targeting Nightly, and he's trying to keep his shields online, keep his lights on and doors locked and whatnot. We have Natha's inbound, going to kill off one of the chickens, almost kills off a second chicken. Chickens come in to distract the chickens from Team 1. Another chicken goes down, another chicken goes down. Colossus goes down. Second Colossus about to go down. 2 chickens are down for Team 2. There are still 2 monkeys, a Colossus, and a crab inbound. Yoji is not going to get this army dead without suffering losses. Oh, there's an eye. Yep, there goes the eye. He's building a lot of PD just everywhere back there. Oh, and here comes a bomber. Is that no, that's a different bomber. I'm going to drop a payload on top of all those AA units. That's not going to be good for its health. But it's not going to be good for their health. There goes the one tap of the bomber, but they did the majority of the work in taking out all of that AA coverage. Great use of a bomber. Of course, it didn't make it out, but again, it definitely just cut a huge chunk of that AA power out of Team 1's land army. Artillery actually over here as well. He's trying to spread out his artillery emplacements just in case SMD goes down or whatever the case may be. So he has 3 of them online. He has a nuke. Second artillery halfway done here for Furfur. We have an artillery done here for Psychoad. So if Team 2's Aeon player, actually the Aeon player for Voss is dead. So if Yoji had built the Emissary, all 4 of the T3 artillery installations would have been built by one team, which I definitely have probably seen. But it rarely happens. So there's some sarcasm in that tone of voice. I mean, I get that nukes and artillery aren't necessarily that entertaining, but it is a part of the game. I mean, this is my opinion. I feel like most players would rather face off against nukes and arties than just a bunch of satellites. I feel like that's my opinion. I mean, I like satellites, don't get me wrong, but still, nuke inbound kills off Team 1's blue links by Yoji's nuke. Kaboom, boom, boom. Oh, that was a terrible one. Ka-ka-ka-boom. There we go. That's a better one. 9 control Ks, and Pepe's is now the lone player on Team 1. That Scathis was never rebuilt. Oh, no, excuse me. It was restarted, I should say. Not rebuilt, but restarted. So we did see one game ender this match, but not much. There goes Nightly's comm over there. And I think at this point with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artillery pieces for Team 2 in total, another one on the way. We have a FAF board for some reason for Yoji, no idea why. Chicken, and more chickens for Yoji just to spend that. How's his mass bar doing? I mean, he's spending everything he's making and then some. He's like he's in debt at this point. But I think I can speed things up. There's a little bit of some land pressure here, but I mean, given the size of the map and given the fact that Team 2 has now thwarted bigger armies than that in terms of experimental count, that's not really going to do much. I mean, maybe it's a little bit more of a rough spot here for Team 2, more than it was over here, now that there's a bunch of PD there now. But, I mean, Gib is producing chicken after chicken after chicken after chicken, just non-stop. Look at all this orange here for Team 1's Pepe's. It's just the everywhere. But again, with 6 players, that kind of tends to happen. 49 minutes, almost a clock here. I'm going to speed it up to 4. And it's just going to go after all of the pigeons, go after all of the mass. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is safe here for Pepe's. Is he going to build the teleporter? Is he going to make it a last hurrah? He has a transport nearby. Maybe he'll send it in. But there is some AA coverage around this position here for, everywhere. There's some pigeons that maybe he could go after for some nice cascade for those artillery. He could try to go after the nuke. There's so much PD coverage, though, for Yoji. It's nigh unthinkable. He has 107 Utashalas and 35 Oblivions. So, no, that comm is going nowhere. Another nuke inbound, and I will add, I think that's the 4th nuke to go to that side of the map where Drimmer was hanging out. I mean, the initial nuke, and then the other nuke, and then the nuke that really wasn't that great in my opinion, and then another one, which is, I think, this one. And there goes this nuke. Kaboom! Kills off that section of Pepe's income and power reserves and whatnot. And we have a chicken down the middle. We have Pepe's commander. He gets spotted by Team 2. The Omni for him, that's dead now. I think, oh, don't tell me he dies to artillery pressure, because that would not feel good. Oh, here comes Pepe's. He's inbound. Will he be ground fired? I don't know. He has some experimentals trying to come in and save him. Pepe's, your shield, not your shield, your cloaking is offline. If Yoji notices, that's it. YOLO gets pointed out here by Psychoad. Oh, that chicken is dead. Oh, does he get the cloaking off? Yes, he does. Oh, if he loses cloaking, that would be terrible. He does get to 5-star veterancy, though, because if the cloaking does come offline, then that Ion Storm can target him. Oh, he needs to keep his power reserves. Oh, I mean, he's negative, but he has a lot in storage. He'll make it out of range of the Ion Storm. That would have not been great. Artillery landing around him. That's also not good. He is going to lose his power eventually, but again, the turning it on at that moment was definitely a huge saver, at least for now. Another nuke is outbound. Is Yoji just going to try to lead Team 1's last remaining player of Pepe's is calm? His nuke for Yoji does go down due to the Scathis that has now actually been built, and a YOLO was started. I would not recommend putting those two things right next to one another, but I get build power, and like there is a nice little chicken running around for Gib. Has done a ton of damage. 112,000 mass kill to be in fact, Frank or whatever. That's going to be a good nuke. Boom! And the Kama Pepe's gets on top of it. Gets on top of a transport. Gets on a transport. And he teleports out of there as he was about to land. There goes the game here, folks. 52 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock. And, I mean, I didn't mean to focus on Yoji. I think I focused on him. I mean, I did talk about him decent. I mean, he was doing a lot, to be fair. I got to give it to Yoji. That first nuke, the second nuke. I mean, the second nuke wasn't as good as the first one, to be fair, at least. But still, nuke was really good. He switched over to artillery. He did such a good job of just punishing Team 1 in their backline. Of course, we had Huff being very solid here in the east. We had huge air plays here, especially that gunship run here from Psychoad. Those two players in the back, both Yoji and Psychoad, did amazing work for Team 2. I feel like if you were to rank, at least in terms of how well they did, I think Yoji's number 1 and Psychoad's number 2 in terms of maybe effectiveness. But you can't discredit or undercredit the fact that Team 2's Gib just produced the crap out of experimentals in the middle. Same for Judah. Judah did a very good job for Team 1 of just pumping those things out. But it just wasn't enough. Again, had this land army essentially gotten into this position, maybe they would have taken out an artillery piece or two. I mean, there was a consolation prize for Pepe's getting that Scathis built and then taking out the nuke. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Yoji, you get the MVP for me for this game. Let me know down in the comments whether you agree with me or not. Thank you so very much for watching to the very end of this almost 1 hour long cast. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to each and every single one of my videos, even if it's just for a second, even if it's just for a minute, even if it's one video and you never come back, or it's every single video. Thank you so very much. And I will see all of you in the next one.